Hi, I'm Noah.
And I'm Corey, and we're Bermuda. You're watching JRAR TV.
So, how's the tour been going so far? You just got off a couple tours in the past year. How's that been going?
This tour in particular has been awesome. We just finished up a U.S. run, which wasn't the greatest, but I mean, wasn't the worst.
Mm-hmm.
You know, learning experience for a new lineup.
Oh, definitely,
so,
yeah.
Not every tour can be like this and fun all the time.
Yeah, Canada's been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Canada's always great though. Like a friend was actually asking me about this. Like, why do you guys think that Canadian shows are so much better, or like Canadian kids are so much cooler than the U.S. kids? And I really think it's because you guys get like maybe 12 shows a year.
Pretty much.
Where in the U.S. they get like 12 shows a week almost. There'll be multiple shows on multiple nights, and so they're spoiled. They feel like, oh, I'll see them next time. Whereas you guys, you see a band that you like is coming to town, and you're like, fuck, I have to go see this.
Yeah.
I cannot miss this. I don't know when they're going to be back.
Yeah, with Ottawa, there's a lot of bands that'll travel through Toronto and Montreal, and Ottawa's it's pretty far out of the way if you're playing all three. But so it's really it really means a lot when a band really wants to come to Ottawa.
The last time we played with Dr. Acula, it was just as much fun as this.
Oh yeah.
It's like we just talked about. Like, you guys don't get that many, so when you do get them, you guys make sure you have a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That always makes it worth it for us too, because especially with this Canada run, there's so many long drives, and like it's been a while since the band has been up here, so it's kind of like, okay, y'all remember us? So kind of a little anxious going from show to show, and again, every night it's just been like, wow, Canada rules. I'll tour here anytime.
Oh yeah, with Canada, like as you said, it's a lot of driving going on, because it can sometimes be like 4 to 5 hours to get from one major city to the next.
Oh yeah, we had an 18-hour drive to get from Winnipeg to Sudbury.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's some driving.
Yeah,
but at least it was all pretty.
Oh yeah.
Very scenic. Even the drive through from Vancouver to Calgary through the mountains, there were some hellish points, with trucks stopping to put their chains.
I was gonna say, there's one spot we didn't care for. That's the Canadian Rockies.
Yeah.
We got parked up there behind semis for 2 hours.
Oh really?
It's just like, cool, we're gonna run out of gas, but we made it. We made it.
We drive in shifts, and I had done my shift. Noah jumps up to do his shift. And poor dude has to sit in the driver's seat for 7 hours, and he only drove 150 miles.
Oh my god.
So we were just dead stopped. We had the laptop set up watching South Park. Like, well, fuck it.
Well, yeah.
We're gonna be here a while. So.
Yeah. With bands touring Canada, you'll see a lot of bands will just kind of go from one province. Like provincial tours are a lot more popular in Canada because, say for Europe, for example, 4-hour drives would be from here to Toronto. In Europe, you could get through a few countries by then.
For sure.
Yeah. Canada's like, it has a lot of empty space, but like, it's pretty beautiful scenic drive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm almost positive that when we were driving through the mountains, I think we actually drove through the lake that that second X-Men movie was filmed at.
I wouldn't know. That's all you.
I'm almost, yeah. I'm the nerd, but that was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I would imagine. So you guys have a new album coming out. Tell us about that.
Well, we've been waiting on it for a while. It's been done, and now we're kind of waiting on our label to kind of get off their feet with it.
Okay, yeah.
But it's called Use Your Burdens, and very different sounding record from things in the past.
Okay, yeah.
But that's primarily due to the fact that it's a new lineup.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I hear a lot of different styles of influence going through, especially the new stuff that I've heard compared to stuff from like 2011, 2012.
Sure.
So what could you say, besides the lineup change, separates this album from previous releases?
Less tech, more groove, or as I call it, more shoulders.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm making the joke with a couple of the tunes. It's like this is amplified hip hop almost. You know, I mean, it's just grooves. I still tried to like keep some of the elements from the band from before, just like weird sounds.
Oh yeah.
Really nasty patterns, but it's a lot more accessible now.
Okay, yeah.
I felt like the last album, as cool as it was, I think it went over a lot of people's heads because there was so many just unnecessary timing changes and, you know, timings backed up against one another that shouldn't have worked, but somehow, you know, freaking they got squeezed in together. And it really did, like, we would play a lot of these songs live and kids would just stare at us. They would come, you know, they'd love it, but then, you know, they wouldn't move. They're just staring at like, oh, I don't know what to do here. You know, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I see that a lot of some like technical, death metal, technical deathcore bands. It'll be a really different time signature, a lot of time changes, and people will be headbanging, they'll kind of get lost in it, not know which pattern to
Just wait for the breakdown.
It's funny that you mentioned that. So on the last run we just did, we were playing with a couple death metal bands, and we're definitely not a death metal band. And it was kind of like the opposite of what we just talked about, where like things going over people's heads. Like we're playing stuff that everybody can feel this to it. And like we had several shows where kids would just be up front and they're like, no movement at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, we're not playing that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Yeah, we didn't want to write a record that you had to be a musician to enjoy.
Okay.
You know, because I'll be the first person to admit I'm not a musician. I cannot play anything. I can't read music. I somehow learned how to scream the way I do and figured out my pockets, and, you know, on timings and stuff. I can feel it out, but, you know, like we really did want to write a record that every type of heavy music fan could get into.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You know, there was no point in excluding anybody, and I think that was the problem with the last record. Is, you know, that lineup. They were very much a technicality for the sake of being technicality type thing.
Well, another thing too, if you really look back at that time, not that it was forever ago, but like, it seems like every year something changes with metal in particular, like what's hot, you know, what's happening.
Yeah,
And,
that makes sense.
And I think at that time it was all about like cool, gent, and now it's just like, bands are still doing that and that's cool. But for me, at least when we were doing this record, and just like in my own writings in general, I'm trying to do stuff that other people haven't done before. You know?
Oh yeah, that's...
You know, because with how many bands there are these days, I mean, chances are, like, you know, a dozen bands that are just local. And you could spread that across everybody that was here tonight, and it's like, wow, how do you separate them, you know, between each other?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's difficult to kind of stand out, but if you can try to think outside of the box, you know, sometimes you can push it forward.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
We set out to write a very raw record. We wanted to move away from the heavily digital sound that from the past. You know, it was, God, the Wandering, everything about that was very, very
Processed.
Yeah, processed and robotic. Like even down to the vocals. Like I was accused, you know, of being monotone the whole time, and that definitely wasn't the case. It was just that every single part had all three ranges, a low, a mid, a high, all layered together through everything. So there was no separation, you know, and no real urgency throughout the album. So, and with this one, it definitely feels a lot warmer.
Okay.
You know, people, I think, even people who don't really like it, like that style, you know, who are pissed off that we changed a bit, like, I think eventually even they're gonna, like, come around because it's, you know, they can't really deny, okay, fuck, this is catchy, I like this, god damn it. You know, even if we're a guilty pleasure, we're still somebody's pleasure, you know.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
They're still liking it, you know. They don't, I'm sure they're fucking smashing insults into their keyboard and shit like that while our record is playing behind them. Fuck these guys. I love this. Fuck them.
After the album drops and after the tour is is concluded, do you guys have any plans for the future? Album release tour, anything specific?
Yeah, we have a lot of things kind of in the works yet. We haven't quite announced one of them that's coming up, but about the only thing I could tell you, it's going to be in the spring.
Okay.
Early, like late winter, early spring. Still working on dates, all that kind of stuff, but we're going to be busy next year.
Okay, yeah.
Definitely busy.
Very busy. I mean, God, we've had the album done and stuff for so long. I mean, we're already talking about like, fuck, like what do we want to do on the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cool. I mean, you know, and Noah shits out good riffs, like fucking like he changes his underwear.
Like when I'm at home, like I run a studio and whatnot, and
Okay.
pretty much if I'm not working my just like regular job, I'm literally sitting at home, just in front of my desk, just like writing. It's like, does this sound cool? Cool. Like I literally have sessions. It's like verses, choruses, hooks, all that other kind of stuff. So it's just like, oh, you know what? I got an idea today.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I'll go back to it. You know, not that I don't write things like in its entirety in like one sitting, but it's nice to have like a catalog when you're trying to write stuff, so you can go back and reference it.
Oh yeah, definitely. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, what else do we have that we can actually talk about? I mean, obviously we're gonna try to do some music videos and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's, you know, right now we're kind of torn because like we all love different types of stuff, and I think that's kind of what makes it work and makes us sound the way we do. It's, I mean, the video we did in the past, I'm absolutely still proud of it, but it was definitely very controversial and misunderstood. People didn't really get it. Like, oh God, you know, you guys are misogynist. You're somebody beating up a woman. It's, well, you probably need to watch the rest of the video because at the end she comes out on top.
Yeah.
She wins. You know, but we're kind of trying to decide whether we want to do like another storyline video or just a performance video. Or I'm personally a huge fan of tour footage videos.
Oh,
because
definitely.
when I was a kid, like, yeah, I know people are gonna laugh, but like the Limp Bizkit Faith video, I didn't particularly care for that song, but I liked the video just because it was tour footage, and it gave me an insight into what these massive bands that I listen to, like, oh wow, dude, that's so cool. They're playing soccer in the middle of a freaking arena. You know, this is all the stupid little stuff that they do between shows. You know, that, like, I love that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, it really is good insight.
You know, I think those types of videos help to break the ice with kids and make it so they're not so intimidated to walk up and talk to any of us.
Okay.
And that really is the way that it should be with every band. Like,
Definitely, yeah.
I can't stand when, you know, a band they don't want to get to know their fans, and I do understand that there's you know a level of privacy and stuff that needs to be respected, but you also owe absolutely everything to your fans. Like, you owe it to them to give them every moment you can, you know, and that, I think those types of videos, it sometimes it can actually give them something to try to talk to the musicians about, you know, like, hey man, dude, I saw you guys playing soccer in some parking lot, da 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 da, you know, like, I play soccer too, you know, and it makes kids like kind of feel a little bit closer to you, which is really all any of us.
So going off what Corey had said, you know, about just interacting with fans, you know, trying to be accessible to fans. You know, you can tell sometimes after you get done playing, you got someone that really wants to talk to you, but, you know, you can tell they're a little nervous. And there's some kids, you know, like, hey, how you doing? Like, oh, great set. And it's just like they're really, really nervous.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, for example, with you, like, being one of the openers tonight, like, the only difference between me and you is that I drove a lot farther to play this show tonight. Like, we're just two human beings, man. Like, there's no reason to have this huge head, like, oh yeah, I'm the headliner, so, like, you know, I'm just a little bit better than you. You know, I'm not gonna do this interview. Like, no, get out of here.
That type of behavior is always inexcusable.
It's just dumb. What's the point?
That's, you know, you almost start to make enemies out of your fans when you start doing all that stuff, because you're always gonna, man, stuff like that spreads like wildfire. You know, like, oh, this, you know, so-and-so from this band was a fucking dick to me, screw them, and then all their friends start hating you, and then you do it again, and now people, you know, you end up screwed. So, yeah.
So, check out Bermuda on the rest of their tour with Obliterate and Weston, and they have 5 more shows on the horizon, and thank you guys for coming in, we really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Man, thanks for having us.
Oh, definitely. Have a great rest of your tour, and thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.